let's get things started. And our first company today is Warrior Centric Health. And the founder, Ron, is with us here today. Ron graduated from West Point and he served as an officer in the Army. And he is credentialed as a certified medical representative and also a board certified diplomat by the American Board of Disability Analysts. He's also an adjunct instructor in the Department of Family Medicine and Community Health at Rutgers Robert Woods Johnson Medical School. But he comes to us today as the CEO and co-founder of Warrior Centric Health. In fact, this is the second time that Warrior Centric Health has been here. You were here before and raised capital in an earlier stage. And after the success of being able to raise with the veterans, he wants to have more veterans come and hear about Warrior Centric Health. So Ron, I will turn it over to you to tell us about the opportunity for us to be able to invest in Warrior Centric Health.
Well, Jake, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be back with the Localvest family. And again, wanted to share with you all what we've done since our last investment. And I think you'll be very proud of the progress that we've made so far. So let me just make sure I've got everything going. Next slide, please. So at Warrior Centric Health, we've created the nation's first health equity population health platform, addressing what we consider to be as a major pressing issue for the nation. Next slide. And so America, we do have a big problem. And when we look at specifically at this problem, it is how do we address, next slide, the fact that unique is a uniquely vulnerable population. Specifically, if you look at the military, most people don't realize we're exempt from OSHA requirements during training and deployment. If we were any other corporation in America, they shut us down tomorrow. And so this has some significant impact on our health, and Warrior Centric Health is looking to, one, bring this to the nation's attention, and number two, provide the capacity for healthcare systems to improve the care delivered to us. Next slide, please. So one of the things that I think is a critical inflection point for the company is the fact that when we look at the Joint Commission, which accredits hospitals, and if hospitals aren't accredited, they cannot get paid their money by Centers for Medicaid and Medicare. So this is a major, major inflection point. They are required now to actually have a written plan on how they're going to address healthcare equity. And Warrior Centric Health have, we believe, the nation's first platform ready to go to market to address this requirement. And we're very pleased to be partnered with KPMG to deliver our platform at scale across the marketplace. Next slide, please. So what I'd like to do is just take a few moments to actually share with you what the platform looks like in this commercial setting, and we do have it in the DoD. Could you please play?
You work hard to provide the best care for all your patients. But for vulnerable populations like the Warrior community, best care may mean different care. Warrior Centric Health transforms population health management for veterans, service members, and their families. As an authorized Warrior Centric Health facility, you'll have everything you need to deliver great care to the Warrior community through Warrior Hub, your own easy-to-use digital portal. Warrior Mark integrates data from multiple sources to help you assess, benchmark, and track the population's health. Once you know who your Warrior population is, your staff learns how to fill in specific clinical gaps in these patients' care. The Warrior-centric health education and training solution provides fully CME/CE accredited education, so you can optimize treatment in the exam room and support it outside too. WarriorCom provides you with an ongoing feed of customizable content, as well as insights on how to connect with the Warrior community effectively. Warrior-centric health provides all the tools to optimize care to those who need it most. Our nation's warriors. It's how Warrior-centric health makes hospitals heroes.
Thank you very much. Key thing about that platform that I want to leave you with is that requirement that now is a mandate. We have the only solution in the marketplace ready to go right now. Everything that you saw in that video is what hospitals are required to do. The only question is that they have to pick a patient. They don't tell them what patient group to pick, and they have to pick a disease state. That's where Warrior Centric Health is going to the market. Say, if you're going to pick any vulnerable population, darn it, you better pick the military and veteran community. Next slide, please. So with that said, when we look at Yeah, I think we need to go forward. Yes. All right, great. So we represent 25% of the US population when you look at our families and active duty, National Guard, Reserve, and veterans. So it's a huge marketplace. Next slide, please. And when we look at the health conditions that we are disproportionately impacted by compared to the general population, we skew way above the general population. And again, it goes back to that toxic work environment that we have served in on behalf of our nation. Next slide, please. Now, the challenge we have is that most people think that the VA is caring for us. They're not. Of the 19 or so million veterans, only 9 million are registered with the VA for healthcare services. Only 6 million get their care at the VA on an annual basis. And only 12% of male veterans get their care at the VA only. And only 20% of female veterans get their care at the VA only. So we, along with our families, are in the commercial sector, and no one ever built a platform to address that. Next slide, please. And that becomes an issue because Duran Corporation did a study and found that only 2.3% of providers met all the criteria to provide care that was timely and culturally competent for healthcare for the military and veteran community. So therefore, hospitals are operating inefficiently, as well as increasing costs and lost revenue. Next slide. We have a very dynamic team that if anyone's interested, we'd love to get a chance to meet you. Next slide. Next slide. And so we are the only solution, again, to meet this moment. Next slide. Again, it now sits in the SaaS platform and the commercial marketplace of Microsoft. Microsoft salespeople actually get a commission off for selling our platform, and we're a preferred solution. So we are a software as a solution, and we're one of the top 22 companies in Microsoft's portfolio of healthcare companies globally and their Microsoft for Startups program. Next slide, please. Again, so the solution, again, is health systems becoming an authorized Warrior Centric Health facility. Next slide. It allows them to be able to see us, serve us, know us, and acquire us as very valuable patients. Next slide, please. So all they need are the tools. Next slide, please. And again, so it looks like, have you served, identifying us, saying, hey, look, we understand you may have been exposed to burn pits. We've taken some coursework relative to that. Let's get a pulmonary function test on you to baseline you. Next slide, please. Hospitals, again, it's opportunity for increased revenue because we're a highly insured patient population. Number two, we're able to help them decrease costs, and they're able to meet a mandate. Next slide, please. So what are they buying? All the knowledge, all the expertise, all the process, content, technology, all proprietary. Next slide, please. We got significant traction in the marketplace with significant entities such as Kaiser Permanente, Trinity Health. We're a cyber technology company with the Department of Defense, so we have 20-year data rights. We have no size limit, so the government literally can write us an $80 to $100 million check contract tomorrow, no questions asked, and it's non-protestable. The state of Maryland is our lead investor in our Series A round, along with Stone & Nelson Group. Next slide. Our model is a subscription-based model for health systems and hospitals based on their size. Next slide, please. And of course, we have a hockey stick, but again, you can have a hockey stick when you have a regulatory requirement, and we plan to execute against it. Next slide. Thank you.
All right, great, Ron. If you don't mind, I have questions to go through. When we had talked before, there were some talks about different strategic partners that you're working with, and some may come out later, go through, but what is it that, why are some of these strategic partners coming to you now? What makes Warrior Centric stand out?
Yeah, so if you,
a strategic partnership.
So a few things. Microsoft, a lot of people don't realize with things being digitized, it's a $4 trillion marketplace. One of the big areas that tech are going into a healthcare. And so specifically, Microsoft's one of the things they're leading into is population health and health equity. And so we are now Microsoft's lead health equity and population health platform. And so they put a lot of resources behind us over the past 2 years in the program, and now helping us go to market. And that's why I say not only we're a SaaS solution, a software as a service in the Microsoft portfolio, again, they now see us being the tip of the spear as they're looking to execute as a technology platform in the marketplace. Our IP, their technology is a win-win. KPMG, much like the other big four, when you look at Deloitte, Ernst & Young, PwC, they all have health equity divisions now. Why? Because we learned from COVID, okay, that as the country becomes more diverse, if we're not addressing some of these health disparity issues, and again, I would put veterans as a vulnerable population, it's a Mack truck about to hit us as GDP becomes more and more percentage of healthcare. So all of them have established practices. It just happens to be with KPMG, they now have the first marketable digital SaaS solution in the marketplace with Warrior Centric Health, and the emphasis on the military and veteran community. We should be at the front of the line as it relates to addressing health equity, health disparities because of our service. And that's what we're projecting into the market. And part of our Series A round allows us to execute against that plan.
And what were you saying? So the mandate, can you say more like what exactly the mandate is that moves it from this is a nice to have to you're saying now they need Warrior Centric Health in your position? Well,
yeah. So when we have a requirement for the Joint Commission, they literally can shut a hospital or department down if they're not meeting certain parameters of best practice standards. So now the Joint Commission has made now health equity a national patient safety goal. It's online with infection control in a hospital. You cannot duck and hide this one. You must pick a population. You must pick a disparity. And what we're saying now, since we have the solution, we have the platform ready to go, we have the technology, we have the partners, and we're DoD cyber technology, we are projecting into the market that the population you should at least pick, if not first, is the military and veteran community. And we are going to be unashamed about that in the marketplace. They have to do it.
so why, want us to go through, why would a healthcare system, we talk about, constantly they're trying to cut out costs. Like why should they pay for the platform instead of trying to do something on their own then?
So one of the things is that the military and veteran community is an untapped marketplace. We have 92% of us have insurance compared to 86% of the general population. We have high chronicity and acute conditions where hospitals make their money. So number one, they should do the right thing by taking care of us. But the bottom line is we're a more valuable patient money-wise than almost any other marketplace. So it's a competitive advantage. And like I liken this to USAA. Warrior Centric Health empowers hospitals and health systems to be the USAA powered by our platform nationally. So if you want the brand connectivity that USAA has from a financial services, the marketplace and the technology are in place for hospitals and health systems to create that brand connectivity. And they do that through our platform. So it is a money-making opportunity. Oh, and by the way, you can comply by regulations. Oh, and by the way, you could do the right damn thing.
I like it. So Ron, I think we're approaching our time here today, but Ron and I have had a lot of discussions in person and several phone calls to go through. There is a lot to this. I mean, this is, those of you who may have heard this a couple of years ago, there's a lot of advancement done, a lot on the regulation side. It's worth reaching out to Ron and have a conversation about what's happening and what this all means, because I know, Ron, you could talk for ages when it comes to do it. And I encourage all you to reach out to find out more about this and about what's going on, because it's a very exciting thing and an exciting opportunity to be able to come in. So I encourage you to reach out, and you'll have a link to be able to do so. And there's contact information we'll put in there, and you all get the link. So Ron, thank you very much for
I'll hear everyone
for speaking to us today.